The Pro Series brush is independently tested against domestic and international competitors. The brush test is mechanical, so it makes sure that all human manipulation is removed and that all tests are equal. Firstly, there's a dip test. The dip test is for 20 seconds and it's designed to test the drawing capacity of the filament. You'll notice that there is no hand movement, it's entirely static. What we're trying to do is actually see the design of the filament and how much paint it will draw. The second test is the drip test. The brush is allowed to drain for 30 seconds. The idea of this test is to see how much paint is retained within the filament and how much excess paint is drained away. The paint that remains in the brush is the paint that will be applied to the wall. The third test is a put-down test. The brush is placed into a clamp and we allow 4 passes against the wall to measure put-down, release and coverage. Prior to this test, there were 2 other put-down tests. The top one is Australia's current leading selling brush, and the second test is Europe's leading selling brush.
Wow.
What we found amazing was the evenness of the put down on the very first pass. The second, third and fourth pass just reinforced how great this brush is compared to the other 2 brushes in the market.
Well, if I was to be asked the question, what is the secret of a good brush, that would vary a little, depend on the surface you're painting for argument's sake, the type of paint, but nevertheless, as soon as you pick up a brush, you'll know if it's the right one for the job you're going to do. Does it have the resistance? Does it have the paint holding qualities? Does it release just when you want it to release the paint? Is it easy to clean? All of those sort of things, the type of finish you want. Is it a nice smooth spray finish? All of that is in the very tips of those brushes that lets the paint go. So there are many, many aspects that we look as tradesmen to pick a brush for the right job. I've had the opportunity of trying the new Pro Series brush by Oldfields, and I must say, over the years I've tried many brushes, but if I was to comment on this particular brush, I think it would fill any expectation I would have of a brush needed for a particular job. One of the first things I really focus on is its ability to hold what we call a chisel point. And even though that's a dry brush, just take it the format of it. It just holds its bristles there. Does it change when we have the paint on it? No. From my experience that I've been able to have, it just gives you that beautiful finish, holds its edge, and certainly even the finish is something that I'd be very, very happy with. Now, this is one of those brushes that I would think would satisfy the most fastidious of painters. Now, there's several reasons for that. First and foremost, when we buy a brush, we buy it because of its quality and we want to hang on to quality. This brush, you could tell, is made from excellent material. It's going to last. And so, speaking from my personal experience, would it satisfy me? If I was to use this in my business, I would say definitely it would satisfy the needs of the majority of paint work that I would apply it to. I've done a lot of jobs that I'm very, very proud of over the decades, and using a good quality product such as Oldfields will certainly bring back a lot of memories for me. It's much like revisiting the toys you played with 30 years ago and being reminded of the joy that you had. To be associated once again, seeing Oldfields make it that concerted effort to be at the top of the game again, the top of the field, really brings a lot of delight in me, because you can pick up a brush, know you're using quality.
The laying off's nice, you can see that, and the pickup's good, and the release is good. So that's one brush full there. I reckon that's pretty good. And see, I wouldn't have expected that amount of coverage for this lighter colour. But that's very good. And it's not dripping much. So it's holding the paint pretty well. The amount of filaments are good. I quite like this handle for this brush. But that's personal preference. But look, that for one, because that's quite a dark colour
It's
there.
gone over quite well, hasn't it?
Yeah.